Claire Hassel Show. This program is sponsored by Glandis Essentials, the Claire Hassel Foundation, Kane Pharmacy, and Sunny TV. So last week we were having a chat about working from home, pros and cons, and we had this discussion with my beautiful guest, Jackie Kaur. This week we're actually continuing our discussion on the same topic. So welcome, honey. Welcome.
Thank
Jack.
you.
So how do you think COVID-19 has influenced the work culture in the UK and in the world?
I think it's affected us tremendously, and like not just obviously this country, with lots of countries as well, where everything's come to, like, it's almost like it's come to a standstill. So it's almost like a black plague or like a war or something like that, where it devastated so many people, and it's just affected so many people across the world. And there's, like, with work culture as well, like we've had a lot of deaths in the company as well, where we've been talking to these people for so many years, and so it's not just people who have died around the world. It could have affected your family as well. So there's people who work within the company and they've lost people, or have people within their families who have long COVID and no one knows about it because they don't talk about it. You know, it's changed. I think it's changed us a lot. Like, our country had never seen anything like that, so we came to a shutdown completely. I think first when it came into the country, like January, they didn't shut anything down. In March, they straight away then shut everything down because they'd gone out of control. But I think it's changed the work culture a lot. Like, I think first people were like, yes, we don't have to go home to work, you know, because we wouldn't have to do that commute, and we could then just work from home. So I think first people were just like, yes, like, there's positives to the fact that we don't have to do the commute. We're not wasting our petrol. We're not wasting that 5.5 hours we would do
Every day
going to do the commute.
Yeah.
And you know, you could do it in your own leisure when no one can see you. You can just, I could relax in here maybe and just work from here, work from upstairs in my bedroom in my pajamas if I wanted to. So there was positives to it as well, but there's like negatives to it as well. Like, when you're working, you'll always take breaks, and you know, you might go downstairs for the canteen, or you'll do a lot of steps. Whereas when you're now from working from home, I'll be like in one spot, where I've put on so much weight because I'm not doing that constant walking or moving around, which was, exercise is good for your mental health as well. So even just doing a 10-minute walk a day, doing a 15-minute walk, it does a lot for you, the way you feel mentally as well. I mean, I was lucky. I've got a garden, so a lot of people probably felt it even worse than me, who didn't even have a garden, because when we got banned from going out, we weren't even actually allowed outside our houses. Everything was shut, unless you had to go for shopping or like if it was medical reasons. But apart from that, they were just telling us to quarantine. So mentally, I think it does affect you. I mean, I think that it's even worse when you live alone. So with me, my son will go to his father's on the weekend, or sometimes he's not here during the week, he'll be at his father's, and I live alone. When you live alone, that can take you into depression, make you feel alone, make you feel like it's different, because you're not in a family atmosphere where there's, even if you don't speak to your family, you're still having people there. So a lot of people have associated depression and anxiety, all these like stressed elements, with people who feel lonely, who are on their own. And so even that can affect you mentally. So if you live alone and that is the only way you interact with someone on a daily basis, then that interaction has closed down. So although I speak to people via emails and phones, it's still different. And then another negative I found was, because I was working on a laptop, it was straining my eyes and my head a lot, and I was getting headaches and migraines, and I don't think it was more mental. It's not, so not doing anything physical, which is not great. And then on top of that, I'm straining because I'm doing too much mental, and I'm not taking constant breaks because I'm not having to do the commute. I'm just working all the way through, and I'm not taking like breaks. As even when you're at work, sometimes your like desk phone will ring, or you might have to go to another person, or someone might talk to you. So it's not that constant. And even having the bigger screen, I think at the workplace, I think that helps. And then I think because when you're working at home, you can't. Sometimes you don't know where the cut-off point is. Whereas when you're in the office, you do 8 to 4. You're clocking off at 4 o'clock, and you'd leave, and it was done. Whereas here, it's constant, like almost like sometimes you don't even realise you're working till 4 or 5 o'clock. You're just like, how's that even happened? So sometimes you lose track of time because you're in like a comfortable place and there's no cut-off point there, which is not good for your health as well, because you need that kind of balance to know when you're working that much. You need a cut-off balance in your life for your mental health, like where you relax, have time with your family, laugh with your family, eat with your family, and all these things are important as well. So I think one positive that came out of the COVID scenario is that you could see your family more, spend more time, quality time with your family as well.
Because you're working from home.
Yeah. So I got to spend more time with my son. Would cook something on our lunch break. Would sit down together. Wouldn't usually see each other. So, like he would just grow up, and because I'm constantly always at work and he's constantly always at school, we never went for walks, or we never done this, or we never done that together. And I think it's really important to have family time as well. And I think it's really important for children growing up as well to have that family time, to spend that time with their parents, whether it's just going for a walk in the park, or whether it's just going by the lake, or whether it's just baking a cake together. Me and JJ will like sometimes we'll cook together, and we have a lot. That's the way we bond during the Halloween. And then also like we'll go swimming together, or things like that. So I think that's one thing where you've like been able to spend more time with each other and family. I've gone to see my sisters, worked from there, so I can spend more. And then I've helped her pick up Peter from school because it's too hard for her. So that support network and that help where you wouldn't be able to do them things
if you're going physically into the office. Yeah.
So even when like I do my shopping a week now, so I'll do that on a Friday lunchtime. But if I was at work, it'd be something I'd do Friday after I'd finished work. So by the time I'd got down here at 5, 6 o'clock, I'd then go shopping. And it does physically exhaust you. But not having that routine in your life as well is mentally detrimental as well. So there are pros and cons to it as well, because when you don't have that constant routine, apparently even having a routine in your life actually does some, like mentally for you, like it's good for you. So there's a lot of people who are millionaires and billionaires and they've made a lot of money, but they still choose to work because it helps them mentally. And people don't understand that. They're like, you've got so much money, why are you still working? And they're like, I need to work because it makes me feel good.
Physically as well.
I can't just sit there in one spot and not be doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like I need to. So some people will pick up hobbies, but some people choose to carry on working because it makes them feel good. They don't find their job hard. They actually enjoy doing it. It makes them feel like someone, like a somebody, and that's what routine makes you feel like as well. Sometimes it's good for you, like where as a human nature, we don't like changes. We don't like things that are sudden. With COVID as well, it was a sudden change.
Yeah,
you're not allowed out this, and it's almost like all your control's being taken away. But it's not great for a lot of people who have been having to go through this, where where we were growing up as children, we didn't have to go through this. They're not allowed out. They're not allowed to go to restaurants.
This is for the kids.
It is sad. It is sad because you want to, they're not going to have the same like opportunities or enjoyment in life because of all these restrictions.
Yeah.
Everything's like negative,
Yeah.
traveling, this, that, and that. And it wasn't like that when I was a child.
Yeah.
So I could just go wherever I wanted to go
Yeah.
to. So it was lucky in that sense.
Yeah.
But I do think it has changed a lot of people, and I think that it's going to carry on changing. Like, it's something that's never going to go away. That is something that we're going to have to try and live with, basically, and just support each other through it. But yeah, it is a bad thing that's not just happened to one person or one colour or one race or one age. It's happened to lots of people in different age categories, different cultures, different religions. So it's affected everyone. Like, I've spoken to people in India, I've spoken to other people who've lost, family and stuff like that. And it's really, really sad. And it's from all cultures and religions. It's not just, I think, in a way that it's affected everyone in some way. We are united in that pain, in some way or one way or another. We've been touched by COVID because we've lost so many people to it, and it is sad that we had to lose so many people to it as well. But slowly, I think they want us to come into the office like one day a week, and even that does make us like feel good. Like, you'll put your because you gotta remember, when we go into work as well, we'll do our hair, our makeup. When you look good, you feel good, and then you do good as well. So when you're at home and you're not doing your hair, your makeup, even though I still feel good, I don't feel the way I do when I've done my hair, my makeup, wearing a nice dress. It makes me, my nails, it makes me feel completely different. Like, makes me feel confident on another level.
Yeah.
It's because you're taking pride in what you do, and it's just, you just feel better automatically.
Yeah.
So I think I miss that about it as well. Like, not, looking after my appearance every day. Like, you're thinking, no one's going to see me. I can just sit behind the screen and just do my job. And no one's going to see me on the phone either. And even on Teams, I just
keep
the video on. Unless I combed my hair.
Oh, gosh. Tell me about it.
So, unless I'm going on a meeting with my manager, she doesn't care what I look like anyway. So, but it's nice to make an effort, and, and I just think all these things, having routine mentally, I think does make you feel like it is a lot better.
Yeah.
So, I think it's good. I've also started going to the gym more as well while I've been working at home, because I can now think, I can go to the gym at 6 till 7 in the mornings. Before, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have been on my way home
to the office and back home.
So now I'm like, I've got that hour spare. Let me go to the gym. So I'll do cross trainer 20 minutes. Sometimes I do it with my sister.
So basically, you're getting more out of your day.
So that's more bonding there, but then I'm more active, and that makes me feel good for the whole day.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's releasing good endorphins in me.
Yeah.
So I started going to the gym now because I feel like exercise is helping me my mental stress, and it's just making me feel good for the day. So then I kind of project that while I'm speaking to people as well.
Okay.
And automatically, I feel like they can feel my aura when I speak to them, because it's a positive, it's never a negative. And even if someone comes to me with a negative, I'll always change it into a positive. So I ignore what they're saying, and I be positive with them to the point where they've got no choice but to be positive back to me, because the way I'm speaking to them, I haven't reacted to their negative, so it's just like it's gone over my head.
Yeah.
And then I'll just respond back positively, and and just, that's who I am as well. So I just feel like if people are negative around me, I try not to make their negativity part of me. It sometimes is very, very hard, because no one wants criticism, or no one wants to be felt like spoken to in a bad way. But at the end of the day, you can get sucked into it sometimes, which happens with any person.
Yeah.
It can happen with any person,
Yeah.
especially when you're working with someone on a regular basis as well. So, yeah, I think it's just best to stay positive in all circumstances. And I just think that, yeah, COVID has brought a different kind of scenario, but we don't know what the future holds. There could be a lot more COVIDs. There could be a lot more diseases out there we're unaware of that are spreading, because with coronavirus as well, it's not visible to the eye.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just feel lucky that at least we're, you know, in this country, even though there's been a lot of people who have died, you know, because of the lack of resources and the lack of oxygen. But I can't even imagine to think what it's like in places like India or Africa, or places where people are not given nothing at all. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is sad, like how many people have lost their lives, and like, but it's no one could have done anything about it because we didn't know about it, and like we didn't. Maybe our doctors and nurses, there weren't enough of them, or they weren't trained in the right way to deal with what the pandemic that was happening, which wasn't their fault. It's just there's too many people who are getting ill. These hospitals are overflowing, and you know, so it's put a strain on, I feel like, hospitals all around the world, really. And even my brother-in-law in India, he's a taxi driver in New Delhi, and he's lost his job for 1.5 years now, and it's been really, really hard for him, because before that he's always had a job. So now he's like been out of work. So a lot of my friends as well, they've become redundant or lost their position. So then that, even though I'm working from home and I might not always want to be, like, I'm glad I go into the office once a week, and I feel like it's a balance. I don't mind it if I don't have to go in all the time, because I feel like too much of one thing just drains you.
Yeah. It's a nice balance.
Yeah, definitely. So I do think that, you know what, just in a way, I'm just lucky that I've still got a position, I've still got a job, I've still got a roof over my head, and appreciate the things that I've got, because there's people out there who are in worse positions. And when you lose a job, sometimes you could have the best job in the world, and as soon as you've lost your job, you can't pay your bills no more, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, a lot of people who might have had money before might not have money, and it's taken them to another level, like a different path. You know, some people could have even ended up homeless because they can't pay their rent no more, they can't pay their bills no more. But that's not just in poorer countries as well, that's happened everywhere. You could be in the best position ever, but if you never saved anything, or you never, you know, if dark times do come, you know, this is why I think that no one should take anything for granted and appreciate it. And nothing ever sometimes lasts forever. So just make the most of what you got when you have it, and you know, and just appreciate it, really.
And maybe save for the future, or have some investment for the future.
Yeah, definitely.
For any misfortunes or whatever.
Because you just don't know what can happen. You know.
Okay. This is all we have for you today. So thank you for joining us and watching us. I hope you've learned something. So this program is sponsored by Glandis Essentials, the Claire Hassel Foundation, Sunny TV, and Kane Pharmacy. You take care, look after yourself, have a blessed week, and I'll see you next week. We'll continue this discussion next week. Take care. Bye.
Gloria Hustle Show comes your way every Saturday, 7 p.m. on Sunny TV, with your host, Gloria Hustle, to break down the importance of addressing and discussing issues like current affairs, marriage, culture, economy, health, wealth, and education on Gloria Hustle Show, 7 p.m. every Saturday on Sunny TV.